for 120 grand, it's worth a look. Like, it's worth a look. Essentially half a Ferrari 458, and this would eat a 458. Hey guys, so today I'm in a 2012 McLaren MP4 12C. This is actually my first time ever driving a 12C. I've driven a 650S, 720, 570s, and pretty much anything else, you know, all the LT cars, but never driven a 12C. This is McLaren's first road car since the legendary F1, which is now worth about $20 million. 2012, as I said, this car came out to compete with the Ferrari 458. So we have a 3.8 liter twin turbo V8. McLaren used this engine for majority of pretty much all their cars up until the 720S. Even the P1 has essentially the same block as this. You're getting about around 600 horsepower. It's 592, and I know some of the cars got that factory upgrade to 616 shortly after the car was released, but I don't know what this car has. So let's just call it 600 horsepower ballpark. And actually many McLarens were underrated from the factory for whatever reason. So it's probably making more than that. Many have actually been dynoed to be making what they claim to the wheels. I don't know why you wouldn't advertise the truth. Revs to 8,500 RPM, and we're already doing 100 miles an hour. 0 to 60s in 3.1 seconds. Top speed is 205. This car weighs in at around 3,200 pounds, so it is incredibly light. Feels it. Rear wheel drive, of course. 305 rear section tires. 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Makes a satisfying clicking noise when you shift. Yeah, throttle response, because it is turbocharged, there is a hint of lag, but when it comes on hard. So starting off here, let's put everything in the normal. You have many drive settings here. You have your handling settings and your performance settings. Put everything in normal mode, and this is simply the best driving supercar I've ever been in.
I was almost thrown off a little bit because it was so comfortable.
Isn't it comfy?
Man, I'm comfortable.
Doesn't it ride really nice? Yeah, the LT cars are a little more rough, like that 600 LT Spider that has a traditional suspension system, but you really don't feel anything beneath. You're just kind of gliding along.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's like a Rolls Royce, like some people say, but it's not far off. So the reason for the nice ride is because this has a hydraulic suspension system. So essentially the wheels are connected independently of one another. So when one wheel goes over a bump, it feels it, but the others don't. But overall the ride, you know, there's no roll bars in this car, and it just glides along so nicely. Dude, this door still isn't closed. Who at McLaren was like, you know what, we want to have it so that when the passenger spends 250 grand on their car, they want to have to make it feel like they're breaking the door every time they get in.
So you can get your aggression out.
That's true.
So like once you get out and realize that your car is broken down for the 4th time this week, you can frustratedly slam the door and it's like...
This car actually is surprisingly safe. This car has an extremely strong and rigid carbon fiber tub. Carbon fiber monocoque, whatever you want to call it. All McLarens have these. Next to me here is a massive sill, almost a foot wide. So getting in, a little difficult. That looks real cool. Improves handling tremendously. What?
Tremendously?
Tremendously. Put everything in sport mode, everything gets a bit more amped up. Still nothing crazy, the ride is quite subtle still. So carbon ceramic brakes work tremendously well. The pedal feel actually is a little odd to get used to. You have to kind of add more pressure than you're used to in a normal car, but after a few minutes it becomes very intuitive. Steering is hydraulic power steering, thankfully. This was still during the era with hydraulic power steering, but everything else since then has become electric. Some of the most transparent steering of any supercar I've driven. The Ferrari steering is definitely dartier and faster. These paddles are actually on a rocker panel, which means you can use one hand to upshift and downshift because they move together. It's just one piece together. So if you push a paddle, it's the same thing as pulling a paddle on the other side. Very clever thing that they've done here. Really allows you to drive the car with one hand if you're on the phone, I don't know, eating Krispy Kreme. You know, if you're eating bull testicles, you know, it's a very good and nice system.
When you're eating bull.
And this makes life that much easier. And really, this car overall, much more dailyable. It's a very good daily driver. If you wanted to, you could easily drive this every day. See out of it. Rides better than your Ford Fiesta. I mean, I guess if you have a Ford Fiesta, you're probably not also going to have a McLaren. My stomach dropped. You know, normally as a passenger, it does drop. More so than the driver, but the torque they produce is monumental. Mind-blowingly quick. I mean, the performance you're getting for the money, say $110,000 to $130,000. I understand some of these cars can have issues. Many have. But many have not. I have multiple friends who have in the past and currently own McLaren MP412Cs and have had no major issues. Of course, there's always the small things that happen with a lot of supercars, that small things you can fix. Internally, mechanically, these cars are actually quite good. It's more of just so the little electrical bits that tend to malfunction sometimes. Do your research before you purchase a 12C. Maybe get like, you know, a later VIN car. But for 120 grand, it's worth a look. Like, it's worth a look. At least go drive one. I mean, geez, the performance for 120 grand. Essentially half a Ferrari 458, and this would eat a 458. So
I love the 458.
Oh, me too. It's a
car.
more exquisite kind of car, feeling the sound, but to get this kind of performance, 0 to 100, I believe, is in under 6 seconds or around 6 seconds. Let's talk about the noise for a second. It's a V8 twin turbo. Wouldn't say it has the soul of a Ferrari 458 or a Lamborghini Huracan. It just doesn't. It makes a noise, but it's just a noise. It's not. You can make them sound very good actually with, of course, an exhaust system. You can hear the turbos spool up, and it sounds very nice. See? Yeah. You know, it sounds nice.
Yeah.
It's fun to do as you pass Priuses. It sounds good.
It's not music.
It's not a symphony. It's not that Murcielago. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's just a noise. It's a decently pleasant noise. It has a deep growl to it. That's real nice for the environment. As we're in a McLaren.
Yeah, I think so, because we're real.
There's just a bunch of smoke.
AOC supporters over here.
Yeah. So let's talk about the looks for a sec. Everything looks exactly the way it should. Like, everything flows very nicely. Nothing seems like it's out of place or an afterthought or just stuck on. Everything seems like it was designed, well, as Clarkson would say, like designed by science. Nothing too outlandish or over dramatic. It's not like a Lamborghini, you know, like a V12 Lambo. I feel like it looks like how like the sort of default supercar would look. I think the back end is a little funky, but I think the front end is very subtle, very simple, very elegant even. Even the side profile looks very nice with those with those side blades. It looks very nice. The 650S essentially has the same back end, but I actually think the 12C front end looks better than the 650S. I feel like the 650S was a little bit over-styled. Just a little bit too much. It's a good-looking car, but it's just a bit too much going on. I like the simplistic look of the 12C. This does have the touch door handles, which eventually became a physical button because people kept complaining. I think it's a cool idea, just a seamless. Be a good thing at car shows. You don't have a bunch of 15-year-olds trying to hop in your McLaren at a car show.
Or they know how, and they all want to try it out in your car.
That could be worse.
And then they have to slam the door Mach 2 to close it.
That's another issue, is that for some reason you have to absolutely annihilate the door when you close it. Yeah. You can't just simply.
It's a full body exercise. So when you swing a baseball bat, you gotta like kind of put your hips into it a little bit, your whole body. It's very similar.
It's a workout to close the doors.
It's not a shoulder down activity. It's like
your bat could go out. Oh yeah, let me go and try track mode for a sec. Slap it into T.
That T spot.
Traction control does turn off when you put it in track mode. So now you can really tell the difference from the normal suspension mode and the track. The ride really gets a lot firmer, and you can tell it feels like a proper supercar now. Not that it didn't before, but I'm just saying the subtleness of the ride was just very, it kind of throws you off for a second. It's very unexpected. Now it feels more like in its territory. Yeah, everything's a little bumpier now.
Yeah.
And of course, you still have the air brake that comes up. When you brake hard, the air brake does come up. It's really cool to see in the mirror. Takes up your entire rear visibility when it's up.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's dope.
That's that's a nice supercar thing.
That is
you can't
very
see
supercar.
that. I want some kind of
A mechanically induced view blocker.
I want something that doesn't work too brilliantly. This has an automatic mode, which works very well.
No need.
No need.
No need.
Do you have your nice center console area here with a vertical screen, which works very nice. It's all touchscreen. Very nice graphics. Very nice stitching around the cabin as well. Everything is either leather wrapped or Alcantara. This car does have the matching white seat inserts, also on the doors. The car honestly is quite base inside. You do have the carbon steering wheel as well. You even have actually a very nice size rear shelf compartment back there to store even more luggage. The trunk is actually quite large for what the car is, and everything is just very nice. It's a great place to be. You can see out very well, almost too well for a supercar. We do have cup holders. They don't fit a Boba Fett corkscrew though, unfortunately, so that's a big downside. Look at how low we are compared to that. I feel like
You're not used to that. You're like what, 6'9", 6'10"? You were like mentioned in the video.
About 6'11". One thing I like about this car is that compared to the other cars, I feel like this kind of just does its own thing. McLaren is not owned by anybody else. This, I just like McLaren because they're a bit different, not as mainstream as everything else. They're starting to pop up in rap videos and stuff, but 458 and the Huracan, they have regular doors. You still get with every McLaren model, you get the billionaire doors, which is it's a nice selling point for some people. The speed you're getting for the money is mind-blowing. Like, it really is mind-blowing. It's head-alteringly quick, and that doesn't get old. You can say what you want about the exhaust note not being as exquisite as a 458. That speed doesn't get old. And if you want to take a risk, you can. You can tune these cars and make stupid power with it because it's essentially the same block as a P1. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. You're a fan of McLaren? Do you hate McLaren? Do you despise them? Do you wish they went bankrupt? Subscribe to my channel down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.